And I know that each of us is created out of this substance and supply of spirit. We are prosperous, intelligent, clear, and creative beings right here and right now. And it is our very nature, the spiritual essence of us. And I claim we know what is our highest and best for our Science of Mind Charlottesville group. We know that each one of us here has talents, wisdom, and heart to work together easily to grow our group in number and consciousness. We claim we have the perfect minister to lead us and to spread the philosophy of Science of Mind to Charlottesville and beyond. And we learn and grow from each other, and our lives keep getting better and better. And we live the blessed life that we were always meant to live. And I'm grateful for each member here today that's willing to work together easily and in fun to grow our group from the ground up. Grateful for knowing which is our best path to take, and grateful that our path is easy and opens us up for new avenues to grow spiritually. Grateful for all our ministers, teachers, and guides, and each other to help us on our way. So with gratitude and thanksgiving, I release this into all that God is, knowing that God is all there is. And so we say, and so it is. And we'll do our identity prayer.
Oh, I don't have it in there.
All right, well, I'll just say it. People should know it by now. I know that within myself, there is a life which is perfect, complete, and divine. It was never born and it cannot die, for it lives and is God. Within myself is wholeness, peace, poise, and the power of life. This life is health, it is abundance, and it is love. There is one life, and it is the life of God, and this is my life now, and so it is. So, welcome to our business meeting. All four of us.
There's 7 of us at the moment.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So did everybody else have mail-in balloting, or how did that work?
No, those got lost in the mail.
Sorry.
They ripped out all the automated sorting machines, and so the sorting machine just put them in the trash instead of sending them on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's our financials, which I think the main thing to take away from this is that, you know, we do have some expenses that we're anticipating with some of the things that we need to do, but we've got plenty of money for that. It's not really going to impact us financially.
Yeah.
So we're in good shape financially.
Yeah. And, you know, we haven't had any money to pay for rent for the room either.
Yeah.
So that's gone from there.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and, you know, we need to be accumulating money because, you know, hopefully at some point we'll be getting a permanent home.
yeah.
And, you know, if you come to getting a permanent home and have the money in the bank and pay for it cash, that's a lot better than being up to your eyeballs in debt for years to come.
Right.
So here's the choices that we have. You know, we can't really continue as we are right now. You know, we think of ourselves as being associated with CSL, but the CSL person, Reverend Julie Lobato, who's the point person for associations, is saying that we're so far out in the weeds that they don't even recognize us anymore.
But they want to recognize us.
We're doing stuff that some of their centers don't even do. So you know, we really kind of have to make
model after us.
What?
Yeah, they model after us instead of the other way around.
You know, what a concept. So anyway, so I mean, we have 3 choices. One of them is that we can do the work to align with the Centers for Spiritual Living. There is some question about that because in order to, I mean, since we don't have a minister, I think our really our only choice is to become a, teaching chapter, but teaching chapters don't meet on Sundays
Yeah.
unless you get a waiver. And
And they
Reverend
don't have
Lovato,
service, and they don't have service.
yeah,
No.
Reverend Julie couldn't tell me if they were going to be able to approve that. Clearly she's not the one that makes decisions. It's a committee, and she's just the point person. So, I asked her the question. Look, we've got all of the stuff that says we should be able to do that. Why not be able to say, oh, you uh, you've checked all the boxes. Yes, you can get a waiver. You can't say that. It's an arbitrary decision.
Right.
So we don't know that we can do that at this point.
We
Anyway,
probably will know by Monday, because they're having a meeting Monday, and she's going to bring
Oh.
it up and see what they say, because I told her, I'm not doing all this work with the business plan if you're going to tell me I can't meet on Sunday, because that's a deal breaker for us.
yeah. So
So,
anyway,
yeah.
to align with CSL, we got to become a teaching chapter. That's kind of in question at this point. We've got to create a legal entity and get a 501c3, which, by the way, we need to do that anyway, so that's not a big deal. We have to submit a business plan. We have to get liability insurance. We need to get the liability insurance anyway. There's a $350 application fee. As I say, we've got plenty of money in the bank, so that's not a big deal.
What's the application fee for? Is that for the
To apply to
centers?
become a teaching chapter with
Okay.
CSL.
Right.
And we have to commit to a level of giving to CSL, but they don't say how much giving you have to commit to. I would say if we join CSL, we should commit to tithing to CSL.
Yeah. Well, you have to.
Well,
No,
you've
no,
done
it
that
wasn't.
before, haven't you, Kathy?
As I read the stuff, Kathy, we decide how much we're going to
Oh, yeah.
give.
We have to do something.
We have to do something, but it's up
Right.
to us to decide how much we're doing.
Right.
And I'm saying Paul McKinley is recommending to the group that if we go with CSL, that level of commitment that we make to them should be tithing. It should be 10%.
Yeah.
In other words, CSL is going to be our designated, um, uh, not source, but recipient of our tithing,
Right.
and we should do tithing to them. Now, if we choose to have other things that we donate to as well, then that's second mile giving. But anyway, the second choice is to align with Reverend Robbins' Alliance for Spiritual Understanding. Uh, ASU doesn't have the rigid classifications. It's kind of like we're a member or we're not, whatever. Um, Kathy is our resident, and I said LP, meaning licensed practitioner. I think CSL calls it RSCP or something like
Yeah.
that. She would be our credential under ASU. So, to be affiliated with ASU, we need a credentialed person, and Kathy would be it.
So
And
let me just interject there. So I would be what they call a professional member, and it would be $75 for me to join. And you could join as an associate member, which is $25. You don't have to. That's totally up to you.
You mean individuals could join?
Individuals, right?
And that's
Right.
per year or what?
I think it is per year. Wait, I'm pretty sure it's.
One-time fee or per year?
It doesn't really say. Prices vary.
Your mileage may vary.
Yeah, it doesn't say on their website.
Okay, well, anyway, so I mean, we could
It
go
just
under.
might be a one-time fee to join, but
It doesn't say. It might be just one time.
I don't know. Like with CSL, I have to pay $175 a year to keep my license there. So it
Yeah.
might be.
Okay, so there's
Yeah, I
there's
can
not
find
just
it out. I'll
for
find it out.
CSL, there's not just the application fee. There's also, because you shouldn't be having to pay that. We should be paying that for you.
Yeah, out of the funds.
Um, I mean, that's to, if you're going to be our qualifying LP, then the group should be paying for your fees with CSL. So the third option is to go our own
Wait,
way.
before we go,
We
before we
would,
go on, what are our benefits of being with Rob?
That's the next screen.
that's the next screen.
Other
Right
than
now
we don't have rigid
we're just talking
classification.
about what our
Oh,
three
okay.
options are. Okay, or we could go our own way.
Yeah. Okay.
We remain as we are. We still need to create our entity and get our 501c3. We still need the general liability insurance, uh, and we would essentially be disowned by CSL. We would not have any association with them at all. Kathy's licensed practitioner status, you know, I suppose you could still maintain your licensed practitioner status. I don't know if they would disown you for leading a group that was
A
not
renegade
a,
group.
you know, a renegade group.
I don't think they would, but I still have to get my CEUs and CLUs every 2 years, and I
Yeah.
have to go through a review process to keep it.
Yeah, so maybe we recognize your LP-ness and support you in that, just because there's benefit to the group for you having those credentials and keeping yourself up to date.
That education.
I think that's a question we need to have answered, Kathy. If you know,
If we
going
go
through all
rogue,
that you're going to do,
Okay.
if you can still have the group and be safe.
yeah, I really don't see how they would have a leg to stand on to you know, to what do they call it? Um,
I just need a sponsorship, and that's Asheville has been sponsoring me. So
Yeah.
Yeah, might decide not to sponsor you anymore.
they might, I doubt it.
yeah,
I doubt it.
because I mean, Kathy, they're not going to tell Kathy that she can't be a member of a Baptist church either.
Yeah.
So, you know, oh, you're going to a Baptist church. We can't have an LP in a Baptist church. So, for the legal entity, you know, we need what would be called a board of directors. I like the term leadership council better. Doesn't matter what we call it. We need bylaws. We need to create a name. We could use Science of Mind Charlottesville. If we become a CSL teaching chapter, our name would change to Center for
For spiritual living. Yeah.
our name would change to CSL Charlottesville. And by the way, I already have that domain secured, CSL Seville.
Just in case.
Just, you know,
Oh, good. Yeah.
when I got SOM Seville, I also got CSL Seville. So we have that domain already secured. And we can maintain both websites. We can maintain both domains pointing to the same website. I haven't done that because of the, you know, CSL wouldn't like that.
And just to interject here, Paul and Ann have been paying for that to hold our domain and our webpage.
Oh
So,
yeah, it's like $12 a month for, I
Yeah.
mean, $12 a year for the domain. It's not a big deal.
okay.
So
Well,
we
still
would
thank
need to,
you.
we would need to file. There's $100 one-time fee for that. We would need to file with the IRS for our 501c3. There's a $275 one-time fee for that, provided you keep up the 501c3. If you fail to file the little postcard size, you know, it's online filing for 501c3s that have less than $50,000 a year in income. It's like a postcard thing that you file online. If you skip 3 years in a row, they kick you out.
What's an experience?
How do I know that? I just went through the process of getting it back when 3 treasurers in a row neglected to file it. Anyway, So, and it's $600 then. So, you know, once you do it, keep it up. It's not difficult, but do it.
Let me ask you, the bylaws, we need that anyway. The
But yeah, the
bylaws.
bylaws we need anyway.
Yeah,
The,
sure.
you know, the, all of this stuff we need to do anyway. We really need to do it anyway. Um, let's
Hey,
see, should
gotta
get the
go.
GL policy. I had gotten a quote back
Okay.
in the,
Tom's got to go. Thanks, Tom,
Yeah,
for coming
I
on.
just had one question for CSL. This no service on Sunday and being disowned, have they run this by Jesus? Can we get a signed affidavit from Jesus that this is okay?
Well, thanks for coming and joining us, Tom. I
okay,
appreciate it.
Tom, you
And
were
Tom,
going,
I just,
Tom, you were leaning towards the ASU.
Yeah, the middle path.
Okay, he's a middle ground guy.
and just
Me too.
remember, anybody else who needs to get off early, Paula's recording this, and you can look at the rest of it later online.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, great.
I am recording it. I started halfway through the treatment, so at least this part is recorded. Okay,
Thanks, guys.
why,
Okay, bye, Tom.
Bye,
Why-
Tom. Jared, you got to go too?
well, she doesn't have as far to drive.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Okay.
I
So
can
the-
stay on till for a while.
That the legal entity, the reason we need to do this is it protects Kathy both legally and financially, because at the present the IRS would consider the group's finances to be Kathy's finances because it's all done under her social security number.
Yeah.
It provides the energy of a real organization. In other words, you know, it's kind of like when you're just somebody's idea, you're not really there yet. But when you have that organization, then it's a real thing, and there's some energy behind that, which will be helpful to us.
Yeah.
The 501c3 status qualifies us for programs like Amazon Smile. Now, I don't know about you, but Ann and I end up buying a fair amount of stuff from Amazon.
Amazon,
And
right.
right now, the spiff from that goes to Unity of Temple, the Unity church that we used to go to in Texas.
Yeah.
You know, when we were members of Unity of Charlottesville, it went to them, but it's sure not going to go to them now. So, you know, we put it back to where we were. I
Yeah.
would have had it go to maybe to Unity of Shenandoah, but they've since folded.
And another thing I just want to interject, the bank, I have a separate account for Science of Mind, and Paul's name is on that account with me. So I just wanted everybody to know that too.
Just if something happened to Kathy, then we'd still have access to those funds.
Right. Right.
So benefits and drawbacks. CSL benefits, you know, we're part of the larger organization. CSL course curriculum available. We could teach those things, although, and they kind of imply that we should be teaching this stuff, but that's not really where Kathy's passion is. So she doesn't really want to be tasked with.
That doesn't mean I can't find people to teach it,
Right.
Exactly.
you know? So we could teach it and you could get credit for it if anybody really wanted to become a practitioner. You have to have 2 years before you can even apply to it. You have to have courses before you can apply to it, and then it's 2 years of study. Oh wait, here's Carolyn. Hold on, let me get Carolyn. Hi. Oh, we're not gone. We're still on. Yeah. Well, you could try and get in. We're still here. Tom just left. Tom just left, but we're putting you down for Alliance, which is Robin's stuff. Is that what you were leaning to? But come on, see, get on now because we're up to the benefits. And again, it's all going to be recorded on the
being
website
recorded.
too. She said she can't get on. She's having trouble getting on.
Oh,
She should be able to get on.
Yeah, try again and get on, because we're up to the benefits. All right, she's trying.
There should not be any reason why she wouldn't be able to get on.
No, get on the Zoom. Go on the Zoom meeting
Yeah.
thing.
it's like normal.
She sees program Google Slide on the thing.
Program Google Slides.
Well, I sent her a copy of it. Go on the Zoom, not the one I sent you. I sent one on Wednesday and one on Saturday. Wednesday and Saturday, there's a link with the Zoom.
Yeah. Well,
I sent Violet and Tom and Carolyn at 2:00 in the morning. I sent them the program.
you know,
I
by the
said,
way,
what's
you
she
could
doing
have
up at 2:00 in the morning?
there
I
was
sleep
a
with my
better way to do that.
grandson.
You could just send them the share link for the program.
Yeah, well,
and
that's
they
what
can get to
I
it
kind of
directly.
did. That's what I
Yeah.
kind of did. So, but I'm sleeping with my grandson, so sleeping. All right, you got?
There's Bob.
All right, she's getting in.
Bob turned his camera on.
Okay. All right, I'm hanging up
There
then.
she is.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
CSL benefits. We're part of the larger organization. We have their course curriculum available, although Kathy doesn't really want to teach it, but we can get other people to teach. We can attract other CSL practitioners and ministers. We have access to
From
youth
where?
material
From where?
from CSL.
Yeah.
You'll come
headquarters.
here?
Well, no, I don't know. That was one of my other questions. I asked them if they have like a want ad to it, if there was a minister around that, wanted to move here. But that's a whole nother question we have to talk about. If we get a minister, we have to talk about how we're going to pay this minister too.
Yeah. Well,
That's a whole nother
that's
thing.
the thing is there's as long as we are small, there's not going to be enough to pay a minister to do
Right.
that full time. But my guess is that most of them aren't doing ministering full time anyway. They're doing that part time and maybe getting a little bit from the center, but most of their income is coming from other sources.
Right.
So we'd be covered by, well, they say we'd be covered by their 501c3, but that doesn't make sense to me. I mean,
Yeah.
why would you, it wouldn't get us over the hurdle of being able to get like Amazon Smile stuff.
Right.
If we did Amazon Smile, it would be under their 501c3. They would get it instead of us. That doesn't help us.
Yeah.
We've got to get our own 501c3. Sponsorship by CSL Asheville, I guess. I mean, that was confusing from what she was saying. Hopefully we would be listed in the global online directory. That's,
Yeah. And you,
they didn't, we didn't get put in as a study group. Oh,
Quit
darn.
doing that.
I clicked on it and it went to the next slide.
okay.
Cursor away from it.
So we'd be able to use the CSL trademark. IP is intellectual property, including the phrase Center for Spiritual Living, the Starburst logo. We'd gain a voice in setting the direction of CSL by a vote in the National Convention, which might be important to kind of reduce the flaming hoops they're putting up.
Yeah.
And more robust educational opportunities through CSL. Use the name CSL Charlottesville. The
See, now-
drawback.
Yeah. One more thing. Robbins, they only teach Science of Mind 1 and 2. So CSL has a lot of other courses that are available to you that you can take from many different centers. You can also, and even if we go to the Alliance, you can still take the courses on Asheville's for free.
Right.
You won't get credit for it, but they're still there if you wanted to take any of these other courses. And the other thing is they do have a lot of international things going on with centers all over the world that are really interesting, you know, that
So
they could tap into.
There are
But you
some-
can get in even if you're not a member, couldn't you?
I would think you can, because everything I've been doing, you know, I get in and anybody could get in. So, yeah.
So the drawbacks, it's more rigid structure required. It requires a licensed practitioner.
Which
So
we
the
have.
question, the question in my mind is, what happens if we lose? If something happens to Kathy, she decides she wants to move away, or she gets sick and can't, whatever. So what happens when your LP goes away? Does the organization go away, or do they float us until we can get somebody else?
No, they have another licensed practitioner at Unity. There is one woman there that's a licensed science and mind practitioner there.
Yeah, but she didn't want to do it.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I mean, if she's stuck with Unity while we're going on, then that means that
Yeah.
she's drunk their Kool-Aid.
Who is that?
the-
You mind saying?
I can't remember her name. Do you know her name, Carolyn?
I was trying to think of it.
I know what she looks like. She's very active in Unity.
Violet, do you know? Remember her that came? One reason she didn't want it because we didn't have a 501, and she didn't think people would give money if they couldn't take it off their taxes.
No, I don't know who that is.
What was her name? She had short hair.
Blonde hair. Yeah.
She's been there a long time?
Yeah.
I
Pretty
think
much.
Yeah.
I may know who you're talking about, and I can't remember what her name is.
She's
Not
tall.
crazy.
We're having
She does the prayer group. If somebody wants a prayer, she does that at Unity.
Oh. Hmm.
We're
I
having
have a name written down, so I'll look for it.
we're having a group, as it is sometimes called, brain fart. So it costs $350 for the application. That's not really a problem for us. Would require a waiver to hold Sunday meetings. That is not at this point guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's really in question. And what happens if we lose our LP? For Kathy wanted me to put this process in here so you can see it's a fairly convoluted process. And now we would know after phase 1 whether we had the waiver to do Sunday. But there's still a fair amount of work. The Reverend Julie was saying, "Oh, it's not that much work," but it's like, okay, the application form, we got to do the business plan before
But
we
we
can.
have to do the business plan anyway.
We have to do the business plan. We have to gather these letters of recommendation from the centers around.
That's not a problem, because I talked to Faith already, and I know John in Asheville. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Well, theoretically, we should reach out to, Lee's, what is it, Leesburg, Lee's, whatever it is,
Because they're closer.
up there, because they're actually closer than Falls Church. And then there's another one in the DC area. I mean, we should be getting at least acknowledgement from them as well. But
Yeah.
there's a fair amount of work to this. The main part of it is doing the business plan.
I know the minister over in Leesburg is Reverend Sunday. That's so funny. Reverend Sunday and Reverend Faith, isn't that? far?
But you
Yeah, I
mean that
wanna-
we would have to go through all of these hoops before we could even find out if they'll let us have a Sunday service?
Just
Well,
the phase
this is
1
it.
part.
Phase 1, yes, but tomorrow, Reverend Julie is going to ask them, because I said, I want to know if I have this variance before I do any of this. So she's
Yeah.
going to ask them, and she said, I don't know if they're going to give me an answer without any paperwork at all, but she said, I'll feel them out. But you have to remember, my license is held by Asheville, and John Waterhouse was the president of CSL internationally. So he's got a lot of clout.
Right.
And I can't imagine them saying I can't have it because they know I would go right to John. So, you know, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure we're going to get it.
So anyway, this is the process.
But that's a huge part in the decision.
Oh, it is. That's why I don't want to do anything unless I have the assurance that we can have a Sunday service. So,
Okay.
What
Yeah.
is,
we
what
need
is
to
their
have
reasoning?
we need to have the assurance
Okay.
that we can continue as we work.
right. What is their reasoning, Violet? I have no idea. That's my problem. I
beginning-
don't understand it at all. Put it that
We're
way.
beginning to wonder how well this plan was thought out.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the process. Now you have somebody that has volunteered to do all of this stuff.
You.
That's me.
Yay!
I'm perfectly happy to take care of putting together the business plan. You know, I'll work with Kathy on that, of course, but all of the
Bylaws.
work of the paperwork of getting the LLC, I've done that before. The 501c3, I've done worse than that before. You know, all of that stuff I can get taken care of, so not to worry about that. You don't. Nobody
So
here.
phase one is not that big of a deal. It
Yeah,
just
phase one's
if we
it's
don't.
not that big of a deal except for putting the business plan together. I think if we're going to do a decent business plan, that takes some
But
thought.
we need a business plan to go with Reverend Robin to get our tax thing anyway.
We need-
Bylaws.
Right?
We need bylaws.
We need bylaws
I
for
would-
the.
That's
Yeah, it's
different.
not the bylaws is dirt simple.
Yeah, that's cut and paste. You know, it's
And the main thing with the bylaws is that we want to make sure that we don't go down the path of another well-known New Thought organization here in town. We want to make sure that we preclude that kind of stuff in our bylaws. So ASU benefits, we become part of ASU. ASU is less structured. They have their course curriculum, which is limited. You know, it's LP 1 and 2. The
Well, Science of Mind 1 and 2.
Science of Mind 1 and 2.
Okay.
There was a LP curriculum, and there's a minister curriculum 1 and 2. So it's pretty much their curriculum is all building towards minister, and you stop wherever you want to stop.
Yeah.
well,
And-
what they
and
they
that-
might they're fairly new though, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a
And
relatively
so they
new
might
branch. So.
add other curriculum as time
Well,
goes.
and you know, maybe that's something that we need to do as a group is to think of other things that we need to have curriculum for. And if we decide to go ASU, maybe that's part of our ministry is thinking of, okay, this is something that needs to be taught. And maybe a subgroup of us gets together and puts that curriculum together.
And the other benefit is you got it. Reverend Robin is the president. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I thought she was very, what do I want to say? When she talked to us the last Sunday, you know, and told us about it, they were very easygoing on you. You know, they
Yeah.
want people to understand the science of mind. They want people to get into it instead of having to go through so many hoops.
the reason they branched off from ASU is because of the difficulties that we're having with CSL.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
And
So-
if I don't know if anybody remembers, but the first time Robin came to our group at my house, Reverend Thelma came with her, an older woman, and
Yeah.
her and her husband, the ones that teach ministers and practitioners. And I don't know, I mean, they're wonderful people, but they are in their 80s right now. So I don't know, you know.
Well, I thought she was going to teach the science of mind class. Robin was.
Yeah, she's
Science of mind 1 and 2, maybe.
she's gonna
So-
have to take over for them, I think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the point is at some point they have to have the capacity to get people to the minister level. So anyway,
And
Sure.
I did ask if that was on Zoom, and right now it is gonna be all on, on Zoom. So you
Yeah,
don't
but-
have to go to Richmond if you want to take these classes.
Now their to get their credentials and stuff, it's cheaper than the other one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
And it's
classes are
not
cheaper.
as bridges. You don't need, you know, you don't need as much as you do for the other one.
Yeah,
And how big is this organization?
It's not
Not
big.
Is it
very
just
big.
kind of localized right now, or what?
Right now, it was from Washington, Washington D.C., Carolyn, right? Didn't you
Right.
say?
At one time, it was bigger than it is now, I think.
Yeah, but it's very small. It's basically home based in Richmond, and there's only, I would say, about 5 centers. I think she,
Wonder why they lost membership.
yeah,
so it's a much smaller organization.
and it's
And-
the one we went to is older, older people. So I don't know if they're attracting younger members, which is kind of scary to me because it's going to die out. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't have the younger members there.
Well, and that's, that's something that we need to be doing also, is figuring
Yeah.
out a way to attract
Yeah.
younger people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Any people.
uh, yes, yes, any people, but we especially need younger people.
Yeah,
A
but-
church organization is kind of like a tree, and the leaves of the tree are the children. When you
Yeah.
lose the children, the tree dies.
yeah.
So we need to figure out a way to be attracting in people that are much younger. Frankly, I think there's going to be a lot of people. Our son Jesse really doesn't want anything to do with religious organizations, mainly because as he was growing up, we were members of Methodist, and he
Yeah.
really felt like they were trying to tell him what he should believe.
Right.
And if we'd gotten plugged into a unity organization, it might have been much different.
And
So
CSL has a very active youth ministry and all kinds of different things for the
Yeah.
youth. And
Yeah.
before I lose Carolyn,
No, you won't lose me for a while.
oh, okay. No, I wanted to suggest, no matter what we did, we had suggested this a few times, but never really did anything. I'd like to get something going in the community, but I guess with the coronavirus now isn't the time, but I just wanted to put that in everybody's heads that we should be looking to do something to help our community.
Yeah.
So I know Carolyn has a lot of good ideas and knows a lot, and Jane. So if anybody,
I know that Loaves and Fishes need some volunteers on Wednesdays, I think.
Yeah.
To get give out food, and put it in the cars for the people.
And the Blue Ridge Food Bank also can always use volunteers.
Right.
I'd like to do something that we sponsor, something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the greatest right now.
we should be living outside ourselves.
Right,
As
right.
a spiritual community, you need to live outside yourself in order to be healthy. If you're only living within yourself, that's not very
Right.
healthy.
Well, I just wanted to put that in everybody's head, and we'll talk about that another time. But I really would like to be doing something, and maybe attracting people at UVA, students and stuff, having to do something there would be good.
Yeah.
So,
I used to have something with the children. I mean, when the kids came back to school, they'd have tables out,
yeah,
and telling what organization you belong to and stuff like that. But they don't
Not
do
doing
that
that this
anymore. I
year.
don't think.
yeah. Well,
Not this year.
yeah.
Not anyway this
so-
year.
Okay. All right.
So
Go
the-
ahead. Sorry. Just
The
wanted to-
drawbacks to the ASU, so there's no global directory yet. If we join that organization, it may be that there will be some changes that I can contribute to, such as updating the website and so forth. It's a smaller, newer organization. We've already talked about there's limitations in the course curriculum that they offer. Science of Mind 1 and 2, licensed practitioner, and ministerial 1 and 2 curriculum. It looked to me like if someone wanted to start from ground zero and become a minister, it would be 5 years worth of work,
Mhm.
because the
Yeah.
Science of Mind 1 and 2 is each a year, and then the LP is a year, and then the ministerial 1 and 2 is each a year. So that's like 5 years worth of work
Yeah.
to get
That
to
would
that
almost
point.
be the same as probably CSL.
Yeah, yeah. The
It
CSL
sounds
is,
like, I know this is kind of crazy, but I think they do need us. The
Who, CSL?
Alliance spiritually, yeah, the ASU.
oh, ASU.
I think
Yeah,
they need us to help them. Maybe like you said, to help bring up their web page, or
yeah, put a directory in their
Pointer.
webpage and things
right,
like
exactly. And it's not going to cost us any money, really. I can
Yeah.
see why we could help maybe both of them. I mean, I can see how. All right, we do the 503. You were going to do that anyway, right?
that. Yeah,
Right.
we need to do
It
that
would be
anyway.
the business plan and some other stuff that would take more work on the other one. But I
Right.
can see how maybe we could help this organization and just see what we would get out of it.
I have a question. It might be a stupid question, but
Yeah, go ahead, Marlon.
Do we have to give you a stupid answer?
if we joined ASU and at some point found that it wasn't working for us, or it was too small, or whatever, for any reason, what would CSL be open to, applying to them at that point?
Taking us
For-
back.
Yeah.
As long as I'm in good standing with my license.
Yeah, as long as they haven't kicked Kathy out
Right,
and
exactly.
she hasn't allowed it to lapse,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is, I say, I mean, honestly, even if we go with ASU, I would say that it would behoove our group to uh, to make sure that Kathy keeps up to date with CSL
Right.
by paying her CSU CEUs and whatever it is that she needs to keep up her CSL LP.
Right.
It would behoove us to do that for her.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the least we can do for what she's done for us.
Right. Exactly. I agree.
So anyway, ASU, for the process to join ASU, Kathy applies for the LP under ASU. ASU recognizes the CSL credentials, so that's kind of a shoe-in. It's a no-brainer to join the ASU. There's no flaming hoops for
Right.
us really to do that.
There's no
Um,
insurance. You don't have to pay $270 in insurance.
No, we need the
Oh,
insurance
we need-
independent of that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They
Yeah.
they don't require us to get the insurance. They don't require us to do that, but we still need to do it.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea to do that still.
Okay.
If we rent somewhere, Carolyn, we needed it for the rental place that we had. They wanted us to have our own insurance
Oh,
also.
I see. Okay.
It's like the CSL
Bob's
require
talking, but he's muted.
Bob, he's not talking to us.
Oh, okay.
He's talking to somebody else.
Okay, never mind.
The LLC, CSL requires it, ASU doesn't, but we need to do that for ourselves.
Okay.
The 501c3, CSL doesn't require it, but we need to do that for ourselves. So the insurance, ASU wouldn't require it, but we need to do that for ourselves. So, I mean, to me, the entity part of it, including the insurance, is kind of a separate discussion. It's something we need to do anyway.
Okay, we don't have to get that insurance from CSL then.
No.
No,
Okay.
the insurance is from a
In
insurance
fact, they don't have it.
Yeah,
You have to get it private.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for independent, the benefits is we make our own rules. We, no flaming hoops. We pretty much stay the same as we are. The drawbacks is we have no support from a larger organization, no recognition from those seeking either CSL or ASU.
Well, what
And
support would they give us anyway?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
What support are
they're
they
not
giving us?
Well,
giving-
CSL would,
Right.
would list us as a teaching center, and we do have a vote in it. ASU would probably, I mean, they don't even have a low, they don't even have a list right now of that's out
No,
there.
that's,
I think.
but that's something that if we joined ASU,
Yeah.
someone would be working with them to make
Yeah.
that happen.
Yeah.
We're not sure who that is, but someone would be. So anyway, if we go independent, we would lose our pseudo affiliation with CSL because we're so far in the weeds that they can't even find us at this point. As far as they're concerned, we are so far in the weeds. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions on that? I'm glad we could.
What I'm thinking about is if somebody was looking for a Science of Mind group, like if they went on to meet up and looking for something for Science of Mind,
Right.
would we still show up in that if we have a meetup page?
Yeah, that's a good question, and that's a really one of the a big
Well,
plus
I
that's a
put,
big plus for CSL, frankly, because if somebody comes into the area and they're looking for a CSL center, then we could show up there. But yeah, how could we, they go to the main web page of CSL to find us,
Yeah.
and that.
Right.
By the way, the directory on CSL is kind of hidden in their website. It's not
it
easy
really?
to find. It's not easy to find the directory. It's there, but you have to look for it.
Well, you could put it in the question, and then it comes up.
Yeah.
They have a question place, and it would come up. But if they put in Science of Mind right now, in the meetup, we come up because we have, and we pay for that, the meetup group.
Yeah.
Or just even if you Google it, Science of Mind Charlottesville, we would come up, right?
Yeah, we do. We do come up.
So we
Yep.
would come up no matter which organization we went with.
right.
But now people
We're
would,
tagged that way.
For someone looking for Science of Mind, if they're looking for Centers for
CSL.
Spiritual Living, we would not show up.
Right, that's right. And
Right.
most people that are in it would look for CSL, if they were coming from a different church.
Yeah.
But then if they didn't find it, you would think they would go to Science of Mind,
Yeah.
Most people that, I had never heard of anything like that. Centers for Spirit. I never heard of that
Yeah.
until,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Well,
were,
they just
we were
changed it.
familiar. We were
Yeah,
familiar with Science of Mind,
yeah.
Right.
but we were not familiar with Centers for Spiritual Living
Right.
because we had studied Science of Mind. At least I had. I don't know if you had. Anne hadn't really
never really got
studied it,
into
but
it.
she was familiar with it through my study of it.
Right.
And that was years ago. That was way before I discovered Unity. So, but yeah, I would think that people would be searching for Science of Mind maybe more so than CSL.
Right,
I
exactly.
would think so.
And I put ours in the Echo when I had the class,
Yeah, we need to be.
we
need
paid
to be-
for
By
that.
the way, I mean, did I interrupt you, Carolyn?
No,
Sorry.
no, you didn't.
We need to be putting into to the Echo anyway, and I'm thinking that if we had our 501c3, which makes us a real sure enough
Yes,
nonprofit,
that's
that would give them more incentive to give us a space in there, without charging us for it.
Exactly.
When
That's
you're
true.
talking about that, I can also get places for meetings if I had one, the 501. You can meet
Yeah.
in libraries, you can meet for free too. You wouldn't have to pay.
That's a good idea. Yes, that's a very good
You
idea.
wouldn't have to pay for the meeting places if you had it, because they all asked me if I had a tax number,
Okay. Yeah, all right, that should be the one thing we do get then.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
So that's what I've been saying all along. We really need
Yeah.
to form our entity and get our 501c3.
Right.
That opens a lot of doors for us. It gives it
Mm.
you know, I look at things from an energy perspective. Being a Reiki practitioner and a student of the law of attraction, and you know, all of this stuff fits into my concept of energy. And when you're just a loose group
Yeah,
that happens to meet on Sundays, that has a different energy than being a
right.
bona fide organization.
Exactly.
And bona fide organizations are more attractive and more sticky than just loose groups.
Right.
I
Yeah.
need to
Yeah,
go.
you need to go. So where
would
are
like-
you leaning to, Violet?
The what's it called? Ace
Okay.
Robbins group.
Okay,
ASU.
ASU. No.
okay.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll send out an email if I find out from headquarters if, you know,
We can meet on Sundays.
yeah, Tuesday I'll probably.
Thanks for all the work you put into this,
Yeah, it's a lot.
Too, yeah,
Kathy and
Paul too.
Paul. Exactly.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
thanks, Paul.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
yeah, he did a nice presentation. Yeah,
Okay, well, we'll just wait and see and just,
yeah,
well, like we can start on at least the 501c3.
right.
Well,
That's the main thing, I think, for us.
Don't we need to know where we're going to be going? Because we need to have a name.
Yes,
before
we
put
need-
together a
We need to
501c3.
know which way we're going because
Oh.
we have to have the name to get our LLC. And if we go with CSL,
The name-
then that defines our name under that organization.
Okay,
So we can't really,
Do anything until we decide what we're
we
going to do.
can't do the we
I
can't do
know.
the 501c3 until we have the LLC, and we can't do the LLC until we have, you know,
No, the
definitely gone down that path.
Yeah, decide which
I'm
way
doing
we're
good.
going.
Let me ask, can't we put
Bring
most
me
of it
later on.
together and
But I
just,
came up here and made you listen to it.
Hold on, wait a minute. Mute Bob.
can we put most of it together and then just plug in the name at the end if we decide?
Well, we could do we could do the bylaws and you know, get that put together. That's that, by the way, is something that, I mean, I can put the bylaws together and I'm going to put it together the way that I think it should be done. But that also, it's not that I'm going to put it together and that's the way it is. The bylaws are kind of intimate, you know, and everybody needs to have their
plug in.
say in how the bylaws are done. I put them together first, but then everybody else needs to be able to, you know, mark it up and say, I like this, I don't like this, we missed this point. You know, it
Well,
needs,
does ASU have bylaws?
ACL.
well, they don't,
We
they
could just
don't,
look at theirs.
ASL.
well, CSL has examples.
CSL has some bylaws,
Uh-huh.
you know, a kind of a recommended bylaw. You know, that's
That's where we'd
probably,
start.
that's where I would start so that at least the bylaws kind of conform to their model. I'm sure that would be just as acceptable to ASU.
Yeah,
So we could do that part of it. We would have to do that part of it to
anyway,
even, you know,
Start.
to even have the decision one way or the other of whether we go with CSL. The only reason we wouldn't do that would be if everybody says we want to go ASU instead of CSL, then there's no point in continuing the conversation about CSL. We just go ASU and do what we want. But we do have a template for the bylaws from CSL that we can work on. You know, I might want to see if I can find some bylaws from some other organizations. I want to make sure that our bylaws preclude becoming another Church of Patricia Owen Don. And I also want to make sure that our bylaws really support the small group environment. In other words, you know, our mission is to support the small groups, not just the bigger organization. The mistakes that are made somewhere else, I would like to try to kind of build into the bylaws that we don't make those mistakes.
Well, go ahead.
So-
Well, does the ASU have 501c3?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we could look at theirs and
They have
they
it.
have to get bylaws too, right?
Right.
Yeah, we
They
can look,
have it. They did suggest that we get our own, but they
Yeah.
do
Their
have,
own bylaws. Well, I would like to see what their bylaws even
Right.
say.
right.
You know?
Right.
yeah. If we decide to go with ASU, then, you know, we get their bylaws. We probably want to get their bylaws and incorporate the best
Yeah.
parts of that.
You know,
Right.
Whichever way we go, we want to compare those and kind of coalesce them into our bylaws.
Right.
But
I agree.
yeah, I think the thing is
Yeah.
that if everybody wants to go ASU, then there's no point in continuing the
Well,
conversation
we don't know.
about CSL.
We don't know what
Yeah,
the advantages are yet.
Yeah, I think today is too soon for us to
Yeah.
set ourselves in a decision. A lot of questions have come up today.
Yeah, this is
So
true.
I'd like for us to compile those questions and have answers, and maybe we could send all of that out in an email to everybody and say, here are the answers and so forth, and we'll want final decisions by such and such a time. How does that sound?
Okay. All right,
So, but-
Kathy, I've got to go. But
Okay.
I'm sorry, sorry I got in late, but I
That's
was
okay.
on another
Thanks for
Zoom
coming.
meeting.
All right.
All
Quickly
right.
before you go, Carolyn, here's one thing though that I think when we're looking at our bylaws and so forth, that we should keep in mind always and in everything we do. And it's a quote from Charles Fillmore, the founder of Unity,
Mhm.
which he says, and your son might appreciate this too, Paul: the true church is not made of creeds and forms, nor is it contained in walls of wood and stone. The heart of man is its temple, and the spirit of truth is the one guide into all truth.
Very nice.
Yes,
Very
and that
good.
was
Thank
Ernest Holmes too. He didn't want a church, but they made him get a church.
Well, it was the same thing with Unity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Charles
Fillmore
and-
didn't originally.
Yeah.
Charles and
He
Myrtle
wanted
did not
people-
intend to start a movement.
So the same thing
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
Jesus,
yeah. His
actually.
well, he did. He had the school of the Unity School of Christianity, which he wanted people to study and then take those principles back into their own churches,
Mhm.
whatever they
Yeah.
were.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. He didn't want to be the main. So
Yep.
we got to look
Didn't
into
work
all
well.
of this and just see, okay?
Right.
I'm leaving you all. I enjoyed it. Thank y'all.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Carolyn.
All right, Bob. Talk to you later.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye. Bye.
Okay, I'm gonna unshare this so that we can
Yeah,
not,
the screen was out.
what?
What's the other screen?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Pause share, stop share. When I stop the share, then we can go back to Brady Bunch mode.
Okay.
When we have
So-
a share on it. I don't know why it doesn't do Brady Bunch if you only have 5 people.
Well, it sounds like we are eliminating number 3
Yeah. Yeah.
altogether. We're one or
Well,
two.
because we want the 501 thing. So, we need to do that. So it's only either or.
We need
Well,
to be associated with
We have
somebody.
a 501c3 even if we were independent, just
Yeah,
not on our.
Yeah,
True.
that's
what I'm
not,
saying.
True.
well, the thing is that we're not leaning towards going our own way. We're leaning towards aligning with one organization or the other.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
And that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I regret that I didn't write down the questions as we went along, but I would like, before we get off the call today, can we try to kind of recreate some of those questions? Some of them we were able to answer, but not all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Well, we are recording
Uh,
this, so we could go
I think
back
one
and
of
do
the
it.
main ones was if the question about being able to have our Sunday service if we go to CSL.
Right.
We should know that by the end of the day tomorrow.
We should, if she gets back to me. We
you
should.
know, we should.
Yeah. So one way or the other, we should. My minister, John, said that shouldn't be a problem, but he's thinking of Sunday instead of service. That's two separate things according to
Oh,
that.
okay, yeah. We want a service and we want it on Sunday.
Right, right. And that's what I told her. I said it was a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker for us.
Yeah,
So,
those are deal breakers, definitely.
yeah. The other question somebody came up with that was good, that was Violet, was really good. If we go with the alliance, we can always change and go to CSL. Right?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it seems to me that if we decided to go CSL at some point in time in the future, that boils down to, do we meet their criteria? Do we have at least an LP?
Yeah.
Now, if part of the reason we went with ASU was because we had the deal breaker thing,
Yeah.
then then that's a whole nother question. The question then would be, okay, CSL, we went somewhere else because you locked us out. Do you want to rethink that, and then we'll come back?
I don't think they work that way. I think
Mhm.
it's all legal, and if you fit into their legal stuff, I don't know.
Well,
I hope it is an individual, but
well,
I have this feeling it's all very cut and dry. But
well, that's true. But if their cut and dry
yeah,
is locking people out,
which it
they
is.
may want
It
to
is
they
now.
may want to think about
Yeah.
massaging that
Which they
rule
did
set.
say when we went on that call. They did say they were rethinking all the hoops and everything. I don't know
Yeah.
how much.
So maybe we help them to rethink it.
Well,
Yeah.
we have to
Well,
vote.
that was one of
Have
the
to
bullet points, and Jane was, if we did go that way, then of course we would be using our vote and our we would be using our representation within the organization to make it be not so
Right.
new group growth unfriendly.
Right.
And really for me, that's actually a concern that I have with CSL, is that their mindset has become
Set.
such that they are not encouraging growth.
Yeah.
And I here's my philosophy: churches are either struggling to live or they're struggling to die, and there is no middle ground. What looks like it's middle ground is really struggling to die. So either now we were in a Methodist church in Round Rock, Texas, a number of years ago, and we were pulling our hair out. I mean, really, the people that were working with the um, Christian education part of that church were running around pulling our hair out, trying to figure out where are we going to have classes, because all of our classes were consumed. And it's like, okay, are we going to have classes in the restrooms?
Yeah, we had classes in the kitchen, classes in the hall, classes in the janitor closet.
There wasn't any place else to have classes besides in the restrooms. And so we're running around pulling our hair out, and some of the other members were doing this. Where are you going to do? And I said, either you're struggling to live or you're struggling to die. This is what struggling to live looks like.
I don't like that. I don't like the word struggling.
Well,
Yeah.
You're growing or you're not growing.
I'm not struggling. I'm growing. I'm growing. I'm not struggling.
Right.
Well,
True.
You can do this. Shift
Not in
that.
Methodist terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, shift it, Paul. Come on.
I see why Paul used the word, though. I see the point.
Yeah.
because-
there's a challenge. There's a challenge to it either way. Now, the trick to it is struggling to die doesn't really look like a struggle. See, in my mind, the struggle is good. Struggling is like exercising, and you're you're active, you're doing things.
It
It's
just
not,
has a bad connotation to me.
it's not struggle with a bad connotation. It's struggle with a, you know, it's a, when I say that, it's a different mentality. Maybe I could find
Yeah.
a better word for it. But the point is that there are challenges to growing.
Life
And
and death,
Thrive.
life and death are inevitable to be. And there's energy that goes into both. One way it's entering and one way it's leaving.
yes,
Yeah.
so and the point is that, you know, you look at churches that look like they're stagnant. It's not stagnant. It just means that they are, you know, either you're growing or you're, you know, the curve is like this, and either you're moving up the curve or you're moving down the curve. And to stay in one place is kind of like, you know, if you throw a ball in the air, it goes up to a certain height and then it starts falling back down again. That moment of time that it stays at that height is not, you know, it's not going up anymore. It is
Yeah.
haven't started really noticeably going down, but the fact of the matter is it's going down.
So bring us back, Paul. Where are you going?
Where am I going?
Yeah.
Well, my point is that
With this
that
line of thought.
with CSL, when they institute um, rules and regulations that make it be very painful and difficult for new centers to come online, that's a bad sign.
Or
There,
it's a deterrent. It's a deterrent. People look at it and they just say, forget it, you know, very quickly. That's it. Like I did. Like this happened last year. I said, hell no, I'm not doing this. You know.
well, if you will pardon my model where I use the word struggle, when you have an organization that puts rules and regulations into place that pushes them over the edge into the, you know, so that there's not going to be any new centers
Yeah.
because it's just too difficult. They're
Yeah.
they are growth unfriendly. They've put policies into place that make CSL be growth unfriendly. They're not friendly to growth. When you do that, you're in the struggling to die side.
So
Okay.
our job
That's a
here is
concern.
our job is to be open enough to their restrictions to be harmonic with them, to
Yeah.
the
Yes.
benefit of all.
Yes, agreed.
Very good.
You know, frankly, I think if we decided not to go with CSL, that would be a big loss for CSL.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you know, I mean, we're small, but we're a dynamic community,
Yeah.
and we would be, you know, we would be a great
And we're in a
asset.
dynamic community
Yeah.
We're
point.
yeah, we're in
in
a dynamic
Charlottesville.
community. We would be a great, um, we would be a benefit to CSL.
Yeah.
I think
about-
we would be more of a benefit to them than they would be to us. So, you know, we would be a big benefit to them. So if they lose us, from my point of view, that would be a big loss. And actually, I hope that if that comes to pass, that they would recognize that it was kind of like, oops, we made a big mistake here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we got to do something about this. If we do decide to go with CSL, then that needs to be part of our, that would be part of my mission to CSL, is to say, look, you know, here's your two choices. You want to be growth minded or you want to be
Yeah.
shrink minded. What you're doing right now is shrink minded. What
And-
you're doing right now has the mindset of shrinking and getting smaller and dissipating and dying, rather than, you know, because it's either you grow or you die.
Mm.
There's not any middle ground.
And when I came here, Asheville, they were so excited. If you remember, they even wrote us up in the magazine that we now have a center, like a group in Charlottesville. I mean, they were really, because of all the unrest that was here. So it was a big deal to have a presence in Charlottesville. So I am sure I am sure my minister is going to put his bid in to keep us, you know. I'm
What's his name again, Kathy?
John Waterhouse. He was the president of Science of Centers for Spiritual Living. He was the president for 4 years, and he's got a lot of clout. Put it
Yeah, I
that
heard you speak of him. I just
yeah,
lost his name. Good.
yeah.
Kathy,
Robert and John. Yeah.
Kathy, I'm wondering if you should like give him a little call before
I am.
tomorrow's.
I have a meeting with him today at 2.
You are
Yeah.
going to call him, yeah.
How
Yeah.
dare
Put
you
the-
go ahead
Put
without
the
our,
bug in his put the bug in his ear and say, you know,
Yeah.
hey, we've got
Yeah.
people that are leaning towards this other organization because
Yeah.
of the difficulty of dealing with CSL.
Well, he has to send a letter of recommendation because he's my sponsor.
Yeah.
So he has to be involved in this. So I am going to talk to him today before this meeting tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I had so many questions that I really would like the group to do, like visioning what they see our group doing and how we can expand, and just community projects of how we can get younger people involved. I have so many things that I want to do, you know, and get people's input from it, like just classes. If they want another class during the week or something, we could start doing classes, you know. We could be doing a lot more than what we're doing. And I want to get a list together of kind of the active members, you know, and not just send this out to 120 people, which is on my
No.
email list, you know.
Yeah. By the way, we could create a separate email list that would be members as opposed to announce.
Yeah, that's what I think. And I think all this has to go under members, you know.
Yeah, we don't need to be boring our greater audience with the
Yeah.
nuts and bolts part that they're not interested in.
Yeah. And I
Well,
shouldn't.
well, on the other hand, we might have some people who that would like really stoke their interest as to thinking that, well, if we go a certain way, I might be more interested in
No.
coming more often. You know, it's
But it-
possible when you try to engage people in certain ways that some people might respond.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't necessarily have to. You don't necessarily include all of the people in the conversation. You could, you know, let them know we're talking about this stuff. If you want to participate in the conversation, you need to let us know so that we'll include you in this other
That's a good
email
idea.
list.
Well, that's
And-
what I did with Wednesday's email. I told him what the agenda was going to be, that we were going to decide. And I said, that's what this meeting is going to be. And I figured if they wanted to be involved, they would have came to this meeting.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder about rather than just an email in words and so forth. Kathy, do you know how to make a video?
Video of what?
Your setting right there, it looks good, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
I'm hiding in my office.
Yeah, it looks good there.
Yeah.
That's-
This is my house. You see, this is where I moved from. This was can you see my house? Look. No.
Nope, you're going the wrong way.
Up,
There you go.
up.
What's your
Oh my
suggestion?
goodness.
Yeah, that's where I lived, on the water in North Carolina.
Back up.
Wait a
Go
minute.
back up again. There we go. It's in,
Light.
Getting reflections.
All right. Nope.
wow.
There you go. It was on the water and I had a pier.
Oh my goodness.
In my other life. In my other life, somebody gave me that. It was a present from somebody took an aerial view. It was kind of cool.
So Jane, what's
So
your
anyway, the reason that I mentioned the possibility of doing a video is that you might, you know, that we might send out an email with a video attached of you coming up, you know, presenting these questions and so forth. And
Oh, like John and Patricia do. You get the email from them?
who?
Uh,
Oh,
Don and Patricia from Unity, they send out an email with them.
little video, yeah. I just thought it might make it a little more compelling. And then you can say, and here's where to go. Here's the link to go to see all of it written out.
Okay.
So, but I don't know. I mean, you started throwing out all of these different things that you wanted to ask people
Yeah.
about if they were interested in doing and so forth. So how does that work in though with our decision about which way to go here now?
Oh, it doesn't. It just, that's different. This is what I want to do
Well,
anyway.
maybe it does a little bit though.
Yeah.
Maybe it does. Maybe
How
some of
so,
those
Jane?
answers to some of those questions might, you know, cloud someone's choice of, well, about teaching classes, for instance, or people might want to teach some classes and that wouldn't be kosher with CSL if you're not licensed and so on and so forth. So
Yeah, well, that comes
some
out.
of the things. So it might actually, you know, it might actually have a bearing on a decision that some people might make. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think you can teach the classes you want with CSL, but you won't get credit for them if they're not approved by them.
You wouldn't get CSL credit for them.
Right, right. And there's certain classes are prerequisites if you want to go in to be a practitioner. There's a list of courses you can take, and you have to take some of them in order to go into practitioner.
Well,
But
I mean,
would CSL tell us that we could not have other people?
This is one of my questions. Are they going to tell me what I can do and what I can't do?
Okay, so that's a question for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I'm
not
confused.
only about Sunday services, but
Right.
and other people
Teach.
teach
Right.
classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know nobody asked for a vote, but I'm voting.
Okay.
And I go with what you want to do, Kathy.
you're giving Kathy your proxy.
I've
Proxy.
given her my proxy. That's it.
Yeah.
As
I'm
long
actually.
as long as it doesn't mean appointing me to anything.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, now I
No,
just love
Bob, the way you get appointed to something is by not showing up to the meeting.
Then we elect you. I just lost
Subtle,
everybody.
Paul, very subtle.
I just lost everybody, Paul.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Are you on your tablet or on the laptop?
Laptop.
Jane looks like she's still on. Do you see me? No.
I don't
Well,
see
we
None
see-
of us see you.
We see the very top of your head, Bob.
Okay, that's enough.
I might have to
There
go
you
out
are.
and come back in.
So the very top of your head is the most important part.
All right. I might have
Yeah.
to go out and come back in. I lost you totally.
My guess
Oh, here
is
you are. Here you are. Yay.
And we do see you now, Bob.
Okay. I'm kind of leaning towards CSL, I have to say. Just because of all the diversity and everything, I think it's more growing, but I'm not married to it, you know? I could go either way. It depends on what they let us do and what they don't let us do.
Right. The
Yeah.
answers to some of your questions. So I think this meeting with John Waterhouse is going to be very, very important.
Yeah.
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 Make sure you have your whole list of questions all
Yeah.
listed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your expectation that it leads to good.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, I did.
absolutely.
I do have that expectation.
Bob, I trust that whatever we do is going to be the best choice
Yes.
for us.
Thank you.
Yes.
I mean, I know that on a very deep level that whichever way we decide to go, it's like any given person, the choices that they make, even if they don't enjoy the consequences very much, it is the choice that they needed to make in that moment.
Right.
In other
Right.
words, all is in divine order.
There we go.
Everything is a blessing, whether or not you choose to enjoy it in the moment.
Right. I just have a vision of our center. I have a very vivid vision of a building, a center, a big community here.
Well, you're an artist, so sketch it out.
Me, I'm not an artist.
I thought you were. Well, sketch it out anyway, even if you're not an artist.
Stick people. That's about me.
Because if you,
Well, your house is very artistically decorated, so that's
yeah. So I mean, but
Drawing
if you
a thing.
you had that insight there, if you don't sketch it out, then
Oh
you'll
yeah,
lose it.
yeah. No, it's been there for a while. I see it. I close my eyes. I see it.
And you are the great artist. You just affirmed that I'm not an artist, and I'm calling on
Ha
you.
ha ha. Well, drawing is not one of my many talents.
Hasn't been?
No, it hasn't been. That doesn't mean I
up
can't.
until now.
Up until now. That's right. That's right. I think this was good, and I think we should do this again, like another business meeting when we have a little more information. Because it's not really a rush, but it would be nice to get the 501 going, you
Yeah.
know?
Let's I hate to mention it, but let's plan the next one for the day that the book club is not
Yes,
meeting.
yes, I know. I don't know why.
Let's
Yeah,
try to accommodate them in
yeah,
that.
yeah. First and third. Yeah. So I was disappointed with this unconscious bias person. You know, I thought for sure they would talk. So I'm hoping, she said she's going to try and find a speaker for me. So
They can't legally talk to anybody except
yeah, they can't teach it. It's only a UVA course
it's
or
only
something.
UVA curriculum.
Yes. And they're not
We're
allowed
not asking them to
to
teach it.
legally.
We're just asking them to talk
Right.
about it.
I said, I just need 30, 40 minutes, you know, of someone to explain it. And she goes, oh, that's a perfect idea, but I can't do it. And she says, I'll look and find it. So I emailed her and a few other people to see if they could find somebody on it. I thought it would be interesting.
Send us one of their students.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I'll look at this too because you know, I'm a member of a few groups on Facebook, Indivisible and different groups like that here in Charlottesville.
If you find somebody that's interesting.
Yeah, that groups that sprang up after, you know, August 11th. So so I'll check amongst those. I'll look too.
All right, thank you. And anything, it doesn't have to be that. You know, I'm always looking for conversations to get our teeth into and our heads into, you know? So.
Jane, are you comfortable inviting your audience or participants into the group that I am in on Sunday if anybody's interested in the way that I think?
The group that you're in on Sunday?
Yeah, this group. And
This
I'm
group, okay.
asking Jane, would it be appropriate or would you be interested in that and saying, by the way, you know, there's this group that meets 10 on Sundays. If, you know, forget the name, but here's the link.
Oh, you
Very
mean just
personal
like
way.
send out to my email list?
Yeah.
Or however, it goes back to the marketing that, you know, to the youth and the different people. It's a very personal thing, as you said, Paul.
Yeah.
And so, just a
I'm
question.
open to it, but can you send me something about your group?
No, he's saying
Oh, yeah.
you invite your larger tribe to this
our
group.
group. To
Oh,
our
to this group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I thought Bob, aren't you're asking about your own group, right?
No.
Well, I don't
No.
have a Facebook following. I don't have.
No. He's asking you to, he's suggesting that you invite your friends to our group.
Okay,
So the different
sure.
the different Facebook groups that that you are a member of, invite those people to come to the Science of Mind group. Just
Well,
don't say
some of
Science
them
of
would,
Mind. Just say, hey, I've got a group that meets on Sunday morning that is of like mind. You know, would you? We would
right, some of
invite
them
you
would
to
be
come join us.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few of them would be appropriate, not everybody. I might just post uh, an invitation to my whole group. I mean, just on my um, page regularly.
And that's, see,
Yeah.
that's another invitation that I want to ask people is how can people spread the word of our group to their
Right.
friends? And if
Yeah.
they have suggestions or
We
how
need
we can make it larger.
One
we need-
thing, Kathy, every Sunday you could remind people at the very end,
I
invite
can
your
put that in
friends.
I can put that in the program as
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Bob, I'm noticing
Invite
the
your friends.
Mondo
Just
cat
remind
tree in the
people.
background.
Yeah, it's hard for me to balance up there.
Yeah.
Real good practice.
Bob, a number of years ago, I had uh, I had two cats, Harpo and Groucho.
Yeah.
And I had this, it was basically two 2x4s nailed together, covered with carpet. And it would jam between the floor and the ceiling.
Perfect.
And it had a platform about 6 feet off the ground. And,
I,
the cats would climb up there and they would sleep on the little it was just, two 2x4s nailed on either side and wood on top of that. I don't think that was even covered with carpet. It was just wood. And they would climb up there and sleep on it and so forth. And I had this bright idea to tie a string to one end of that platform so that it would hang down, about 6 inches off the floor, something like that. And this little duplex house that I was living in at the time, it was on the campus of the Texas State Technical Institute, which is now Texas State Technical College. It was just an institute when I went there. But anyway, and I had my couch and I had this aquarium that was built in an old, tallish TV. And then the cat tree was right next to that. So if I sat on the couch, I couldn't see the bottom of the cat tree. And one day I was sitting there watching TV, eating dinner or something, and Harpo had gone. Now Harpo had a little bit of cerebral palsy, so when cats lock on target, the more he was focused on something, the more his head would go from side to side like that, from the little bit of cerebral palsy that he had. So he had gone up there, and then I think I remember him starting to go down the thing, and then I heard this. At first it was a meow like, hello, what's this? And it went from there into just abject terror that something's got him and is about to eat him. And I'm, leaned forward to see what was going on there. As he was going down this cat tree, and of course he goes down, tail down and head up, or rear end down and head up, but his tail was straight out to him. So as he's shimmying down this cat tree, his tail is, swiping back and forth, hits the string ties around the end of his tail. And when he got to the bottom, it held his
oh,
back feet just barely off the ground. And
Oh,
so he's laying there limp, his front half is laying limp on the ground. His back legs are held off of the ground by this thing on his tail, and he just, something's got him and it's going to eat him.
thank
So
God he didn't choke
yeah,
to death.
I took the string off at that point, but yeah, it was so funny because it started off as a hello, what's this? To, just kind of went downhill from there in rapid progression.
So what I'm hearing, Paul, is you're a fisher of cats.
I'm owned by cats. Yes,
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
have 3 now. They share custody.
Uh-huh. How many do you have, Bob?
One.
One
Okay. I used to have 2.
and said, "You want another?"
No.
No. Mine
We
was
have
the Buddha.
we have 2 older cats. We have one that's he is a long hair, and we figured that all the protein that should have gone into making brains went into making fur instead. Um, he's as sweet as he can be, but he doesn't have the sense he was born with. And he's about 14, 15 years old. We have another one that's a little younger. We're not sure how old she is. She was a feral cat in Texas, kind of a neighborhood cat. Had 2 litters of kittens on our back porch before we caught her and took her and had her fixed. Um, and she and Sunny, the older one, just those 2 cats. I've never seen 2 cats that loved each other like those 2.
Yeah.
You don't really think of cats as loving each other, but those 2
Oh, yeah.
clearly love each other.
Yeah.
And then we have this. By the way, the long hair is a orange tabby, except you can't see that he's a tabby because with the long hair, it gets kind of,
Hmm.
you can't see the stripes anymore. He's just kind of a uniform color because of the long hair.
Yeah.
Um, and then we have this I guess he's about a year and a half old now, orange tabby, and he's really orange. He has a lot of red in him. Um, and he's constantly getting in trouble. He loves to chase after the Sheba's the black feral cat. She does not like to play. She wants to be left alone, um, and he wants to chase her. And of course, as soon as he starts chasing her, she screams. It sounds like a woman screaming, and really doesn't like that. So when he starts chasing her, he gets thrown out, which usually happens at least once a day. Um, he likes to play with Sunny, but Sunny doesn't really like to play rough like that. So, Sunny likes him. Sunny will lick on him and headbutt with him and, that kind of stuff. But then when he wants to play, Sunny's like, go away, leave me alone.
Yeah.
So he
Cute.
gets thrown out for playing too rough with Sunny about once a day. And he's
Yeah.
doing things like getting on the dining room table and getting my earplugs down to play with them and stuff like that. He's a sweet, cute little cat, but he's just constantly getting in trouble.
Well, Jane had a loss this week with her beloved cat. So,
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, Jane.
yeah, we
Yeah.
lost one,
Sorry.
I guess a couple of years ago now. We had an older cat
Yeah.
that she was what, about 18,
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
and she
She
just
was
she got
just ornery.
yeah, she was ornery,
Yeah.
but she got some kind of sickness and just really went downhill fast.
And I just wanted to check in with Betty because we made her mute.
Yeah, I was married for a while, and I had to go see about one of my cats. And when you were in a conversation of cats, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I have 3 right now.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, the most I've ever had at one time was 5.
Oh, we
Right.
got you beat.
We've had 6.
Wow. Wow.
When-
And Betty, are you aligning one way or the other with CSL or Alliance? Have you any questions about any of it?
Well, I've been listening in and on, and I know it was going to be a business meeting, but I'm so glad that I turned in when I did, and got all that feedback about other people's experiences with Unity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I know
and
yours.
I often think, hey, I knew where I was, and I knew where I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I had to make a decision. I could have just walked out, but I became one of the noisy ones.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, there were several of us who can't go to Unity.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
know.
you know what? That made me feel, in a way, powerful. We often aren't given any chance to really feel very powerful. We don't realize we have power unless somebody shows us and tells us. And I
Or
did
takes
feel
it away. Or takes
it
it
was a
away.
power. It was a power. I didn't have to use it. It was already there. And yeah, and a lot of people that are in Unity are very happy there. I have a couple of really close friends that still go to Unity and they love it. And that's fine with me. We're
Yeah.
they still love me. One especially Belle Newhart. She and I are really close. And they're very active in Unity.
And I have some friends that they won't even let in the door for a funeral. That's pathetic.
Well, that's probably me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I would never ask to go there for a funeral.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
That's
pretty.
okay. If that's what, they are not a true Unity church.
No,
Right.
They
that's
they
what
gave
I've.
that away. They gave that away a long, long, long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying is that they're not a unity church. They're the Church of Patricia. Oh, and Don.
Yeah, that's Patricia's church. She
Yes,
always
it is.
wanted to be on.
It is her
she always
church,
wanted
and
to
he supports her, and that's it.
Well,
That's-
that teaches us what not to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
they are our blessing in disguise
That's right.
because they show us the dark side that we need to consciously build into our organization that we will never go there,
That's right. That's right.
and we can do that.
Yeah, well, you brought that out earlier, and that was one of the first things I learned was that Unity was not actually ever supposed to build a church. That was the wrong thing to do. It did.
Well, it's like the John Wesley never intended to start a new denomination. He was an Anglican priest, and he did not intend to be a revolutionary, and yet he became one. And the Methodist Church ended up being separate from the Anglican Church.
Yeah.
Well, for that matter, Jesus never intended to create. He wanted to.
Jesus was a Jew.
Yeah, he was a Jew.
Jesus was not a Christian.
Yeah, he wanted to. He
Right.
just wanted to reform the Jewish community there, let them see
Well,
the error of their ways.
He wanted to bring them back towards what God intended rather than being what man intended.
Yeah. But Betty, you're talking about our power, and I was listening to covers of this woman that was giving her little spiel about her business. She was the owner and CEO, whatever, of a construction company. There aren't too many women in construction, but her husband had been the owner of the construction company, and he died suddenly. And so she ended up having to take command. And she went to a seminar with the construction people, all these men in this big building with all these, big burly guys in construction. She's there. And the leader that looked out at the audience and said, the most powerful person in this room is a middle-aged woman. And she's looking around like, you can't mean me. I'm the only woman here, though. And she never really thought of herself as powerful. But she said that, all these guys, they looked up to her as a mother figure almost, and that's how she got her power, is from them that way. So we have a power that we don't realize we have at times.
Yeah. And she got that.
Yeah.
She got that pointed out for her, the power that she had and didn't recognize.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, when they sent me a letter and told me that that I had been excommunicated or whatever, I wrote them back and I told them how powerful they made me feel.
Nice.
Thanks for that validation.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do this again with a business meeting, maybe next month. And we'll pick either the first or the third Sunday in September to do that when everybody's here.
Yeah, and we'll have more information from
More
CSL
information.
at that point.
Okay.
Hopefully they will have, I'm hoping that when Julie has her meeting tomorrow, that it will be brought up that, hey, this is the litmus test. Either we get these people to come in or
Yeah.
we drive them away based on our decision. We better
Now,
make the right decision.
what time is your meeting with John Waterhouse tomorrow, Kathy?
Well, it's a
tomorrow,
practitioner meeting. Today is a practitioner meeting from CSL at 2:00, but I have to call him either before or after. I wouldn't do it, while I'm on the call with him,
Oh,
because
yeah.
all
Okay.
the practitioners, from CSL. Once a month, I'm on that meeting with them.
Well, I'm glad you're here every Sunday morning.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're here too, Betty.
I'm sorry you can't see me. It's the thing. It's a long explanation, and sometimes I'll explain you.
Well,
Why?
we
Betty,
feel your energy. We feel your energy, Betty.
Betty,
It's
if
okay.
you,
Yeah. When I got in this morning and turned it on, I had a full screen. Yeah, there was Paul, big as life.
Betty, if
Yeah.
you want
And
some help with that, I can help.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll explain it to you sometime when. Why I have a camera, but it's buried.
Buried.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you, I have a laptop, but I could not use it. I got so confused trying to type with it. So my grandson, he's a real computer whiz,
Okay.
and yeah, he's going into his senior year in high school this year. But anyway, what he did, I've still got my old keyboard, and I still have my screen, my big screen, but he put all of my computer in the laptop. Everything is in there.
Yeah, that's what I do.
But it's buried. I can't get to the camera, of course. But like I said, it's nice that I can get everybody in my house on Sunday morning. Yeah, it's wonderful. And besides that, in the space between my keyboard and the screen, that's where Harley, my big white and black cat, he likes to lay there. He was there this morning with us.
Well,
He likes to lay there.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go because I have the children are waiting for me to go somewhere.
Well, you have a wonderful time.
Yeah, I took them to the Riviera River.
To the
Yeah.
Ravana.
Savannah.
Everybody says it, and I mean, it looks so fun. Everybody was rafting and everything. We were just like putting our feet in. And then my daughter looked it up and found out how polluted it is. It hasn't passed in a long time.
Oh, it hasn't. That river's in my backyard. I love to walk along it, and they do rafting down there. But
Yeah.
it's.
And here I had them swimming in it all day.
I'm better than the virus.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh my God. So
Yeah, people
I-
go rafting and they swim in it. I don't know.
yeah. So let's see. Okay, so I'll just do a closing prayer and we'll connect again when I find something out. Okay. Thank you, Paul, for all that you've done with this and the time you put into it. And I want to thank everybody here that participated and the interest in our group and our Science of Mind group in Charlottesville or our Center for Spiritual Living in Charlottesville. And this is our group. We do this group together. And together we're going to build it up. So I know we are spiritual beings, and I know we're clear on our knowing what is our highest and best for our group. And any process we decide to do is easy and quick, and everybody involved is working with us and for us. And I know as we go about our lives, we live our Science of Mind principles through example, and our faith is strong, and we know all is well. And we share our beliefs with everyone we come in contact with. And I know the good goes before us and makes our way clear, because God is in the midst of everything, and that is who we are. So thank you, everybody. And I will be talking to you, and enjoy your week.
Thank you, Kathy. God bless you.
Next week
Thank
we
you
have
all.
Reverend Faith. Reverend Faith is going to speak to us next week. So
Okay.
I'll be sending out an email with that.
Great.
If
Thank
anybody
you.
has any
Thank you all.
suggestions on speakers or anything, just let me know. Thank you.
And Paul, thank you so much for putting this together. That was a big job, and well done.
Yeah, it was.
Good
Made
work.
everything go easy. So,
It was
There's your
my
power.
pleasure to do it.
okay, peace, everybody. Love you.
Bye-bye,
Love
everybody.
you.
Bye.
Love you
Bye.
all.
Have a wonderful week, all of you.
You too, Betty. Bye-bye.
We're gonna go install our front door.
I gotta go
Aha.
pay
How
first.
was your trip with your son? Your
It was
birthday
good.
trip?
Yeah, we had a good visit.
Good.
Oh, yes. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah,
The birthday that lasts, right? All right. Bye-bye, guys.
it's the
Bye,
big
everybody.
6'5" for me.
Oh, wow. A big,
Oh, my goodness.
wow.
Social Security.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
actually, well, Jane, the what do you call it? The age that you're supposed to file for it is for me would have been 66 and 2/3 or something like that. 66 and 2 months,
Oh, that's
whatever.
right. That's right. Yeah.
But you can file as early as 62. You just don't get as much benefit. Well, we have
Absolutely.
it turns out if you have a significant amount of money in savings, that if you don't get the Social Security and we end up burning our savings, then that reduces our capital. And so if we preserve that, then we have more capital and we get more return on our investment. So it turns
Oh,
out
yeah.
that for us, it made sense to file for Social Security right away because that preserves our capital. And if we get the same interest rate that we've been getting, which is about 9%,
More than the difference.
then our between the Social Security money that we'll get and our whatever we have to burn out of our savings to keep up to what our current burn rate is, our principal will actually increase. If we continue to get 9%, our savings will increase because we'll get more interest than what we're spending.
Another time, you got to
If
tell
we-
me how you're getting 9% anywhere.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Nine?
Yeah, we want to hear about this.
Yeah.
Hey, we schedule and to speak.
9%? That's
Yeah,
amazing.
That's
That's-
better.
we-
That's better than the Motley Fool's record.
we
Yeah.
have several funds that we have invested. They're not rocket science, but we've chosen good funds. And yeah, we've been historically. Now sometimes it's 15%, sometimes it's 2%, or sometimes it's -3%. But on average,
Yeah.
it's 9%. And
Yeah. Well, you're awesome.
so
Yeah.
so
Great.
at 9%, by the time we got to be, what was it, 80 years old, our savings will have increased like $100,000 or something like that. So I mean, with Social Security plus the extra to make up for what our current burn rate is, uh, then our nest egg is growing rather than shrinking. And
Yeah.
so
So you're going
the
to go
break
ahead.
the break even
You're going to
point.
go ahead and apply now.
Yeah,
Wow.
we did on Thursday on
Oh,
my
yeah.
birthday. We both filed for Social Security, but the break even point is like 5.5%. So as long as we make 5.5% on our savings, then
It's
our
worth it
savings
to
doesn't grow,
file
but it
early.
doesn't shrink appreciably either. So we kind of maintain that principle. And the thing is that, this year is going to be a down year. This is going to be a bust year. But the economy will bounce back in a year or so.
Yeah.
And I
All
mean,
right.
it's already
I gotta leave. Sorry. All right.
it,
Bye
it
bye.
it's already bounced back more than anybody ever expected. And I
Yeah,
mean,
well, it's because the Fed
Republican or
keeps
Democrat,
propping up
neither one of
the,
Republican or Democrat, neither one of them expected it to bounce back as well as it has already. Not to say that we're back where we were, but still we're not down nearly as far as we could have been. And
well, yeah, that there are two reasons for that. One is the stimulus that Congress voted, which kept the markets from getting too skittish about the supplemental unemployment and so on.
yeah,
And the other is how much money the Fed keeps, pumping into the market. So,
yeah.
but all of
Well,
that may all fall by the wayside pretty soon. So,
yeah. Well, I also think we're past the worst of it. We may get another spike later in the fall because of the weather,
hey, with all the
but
schools opening and colleges opening, those college kids are not prone to stay isolated from each other.
true. But what I've seen is that the schools are adapting. In other words, especially like the Louisa school district, which we're in Gordonsville, which is right on the border between Orange County and Louisa County, and we have friends and business and so forth that we do in Louisa County. When we buy our property to build our permanent house, it'll likely be in Louisa County. But they're monitoring very closely. If they have a positive test, then they're doing okay, where did you get this from? And they're making sure that the kids that are being infected not in the school but outside the school. And they're letting people know what the situation is. If they get a positive test, then they're letting the rest of the school district know, hey, we had a positive test. Here's the people that they were in contact with, and here's where they got it from, and
Oh,
here's what we're
sure.
doing about it.
Oh, sure.
They're
Tracing.
being
Yeah.
very proactive on letting people know what's going on. So yeah,
Well, yeah, that's good here locally. There's a lot of places that are, anyway, we'll see.
yeah, yeah. So I got to
All
go.
right.
I'm gonna put a new front door on our house today.
Okay.
We bought a factory door that is pre-hung, so it has the door frame and the threshold and all that put together. But our wall is going to end up being, the normal door is designed for a wall that's that thick. Our wall is that thick.
Wow.
So I extended the door frame out 6 5/8 inches. So, that much I added to it, more than what was there. And so now we have this door frame that's very deep, and I got to take the old one out first and stick the new one in and get it all plumb and square and all of that and attached and sealed and so forth. And then we'll have a new door.
Good for you. You're so very resourceful.
Yep.
All right, Paul. Well, take care, and we'll
Do.
be in touch continually about all this stuff. And so thanks again.
Yep. See ya.
Okay, bye-bye.